The city was silent, not the silence of peace, but the kind that follows destruction, heavy, trembling, filled with ghosts. Somewhere near the coast, smoke rose from what was once a neighborhood. Walls leaned on each other like broken memories, and in the middle of all that, a single figure moved through the fog. Dr. Mila Kovalenko. Her steps were slow, cautious. The air was thick with dust, every breath burned. Her white coat, once a symbol of life, was now gray with ashes and blood. Somewhere in that suffocating silence, the echo of a distant shell still lingered. For hours she had been searching, not for soldiers this time, not for survivors, just searching for something to prove that life still existed. The war had taken so much from her already: friends, patience, even the sound of laughter. But she still carried her small medical bag as if it were the last piece of order in a world that had lost all sense. Then, through the emptiness, a sound, faint, fragile, almost impossible to believe, a cry. Mila froze. Her pulse quickened. At first, she thought it was a hallucination. The human mind does strange things when surrounded by death. But then it came again, sharper this time, higher, desperate. A baby's cry. Her eyes darted around the ruins. The sound came from a collapsed building, one that looked ready to crumble at any moment. Its upper floor was hanging by twisted steel beams. Smoke leaked through the cracks. "Dear God," Mila whispered, almost afraid to hope. She stepped closer, boots sinking into ash. The ground crackled under her as she climbed over broken bricks and shattered glass. Each breath filled her lungs with dust. The crying grew louder and weaker. She knew she didn't have much time. Inside, the air was darker, thicker. She had to crawl. Her flashlight trembled in her hand, cutting through the dust like a blade of light. "Please," she muttered, "just hold on a little longer." Her mind raced. The building could collapse at any second. But her heart, that stubborn heart that had carried her through every battle, every blood-soaked dawn, wouldn't let her stop. She thought of her mother, of her promise. "As long as one life breathes, I will fight." Then she saw it, a small bundle of cloth beneath a collapsed wooden beam. A baby, barely breathing, its face covered in soot, its tiny hand moving weakly. Mila's body trembled as she pulled the beam aside, muscles screaming from exhaustion. The structure groaned. Dust fell like rain. She knew she was seconds away from being buried alive. But when her hands finally reached the child, something shifted inside her. The war, the pain, the fear, all faded for a moment. There was only this fragile heartbeat, this one proof that humanity hadn't yet died. "Shh," she whispered, lifting the baby gently into her arms. "It's okay. I've got you." The baby's cries softened, like it recognized safety in her voice. But then, a deafening crack. The ceiling above her began to give way. She turned, shielding the child with her body as concrete rained down. For a few seconds, the world disappeared in gray chaos. When she opened her eyes, pain shot through her arm. Blood, dust, silence again. But the baby, still alive, still breathing. Mila coughed, pushing herself up. Her entire body shook, but she didn't stop. She stumbled through the wreckage, light streaming in through a hole in the wall, a way out. Outside, the morning sun finally broke through the clouds, painting the smoke in shades of gold. She collapsed beside a ruined ambulance, clutching the baby to her chest. Her tears mixed with ash as she whispered, "You made it. We made it." For the first time in weeks, she smiled, not because the war was over, but because something had survived it. She wrapped the baby in her coat, held it close, and began walking toward the refugee camp on the horizon. Every step hurt. Her body screamed to stop, but the warmth against her chest, that tiny heartbeat, kept her going. The sound of war faded behind her, replaced by the soft rhythm of life. Hours later, at the camp, she handed the child to a nurse. The baby's eyes opened for a brief moment, pale blue, innocent, untouched by hatred. And Mila, exhausted and trembling, whispered to herself, This is why I still fight." That night, As the camp lights flickered under the smoky sky, Mila sat alone, listening to the quiet. The cries of the baby still echoed in her memory, but not as sorrow, as hope. She opened her medical journal and wrote, "Today, I heard the sound of mercy." It was small, fragile, but it was louder than the war itself. She closed the book and looked up. In the distance, the sky was still burning, but somewhere beyond the smoke, dawn was